All right, JHK here for Sportskeeda, and join me from Arizona is UFC bantamweight Casey Kenney. Casey, thank you so much for the time today, man. How's life treating you?
Life's great. Can't complain. It's a little hot here in the desert, but gyms. Luckily, we got AC in the gym, and it's nice and cool in there. So living in the gym right now, trying to stay cool and enjoy some nature when I can. So not too bad.
All right. Well, man, you're returning UFC 265 on August 7th in Houston, Texas. As a competitor, as an entertainer, how much of a difference does it make having a packed arena for your fights?
I didn't realize how much I missed it until I went and watched the Phoenix card. And then just having, the whole fan atmosphere, as a fan myself, it got me really excited to compete, with a huge crowd again. And, even early in my UFC career, I was early on the card, so there wasn't many fans in there. There was enough to hear some cheers and stuff, but it'll be cool having a packed Houston crowd.
Yeah, definitely. And you fought in Texas, so it's not something new to you.
Yeah, I fought in Dallas for LFA, so gotta love Texas.
Yeah, man, the Texas fans, they're probably some of the best fans, I think. They love fighting, they're not going to be quiet. They're going to have reaction to everything that you're going to be doing in that cage.
Right, exactly. And what a fight to bring that back with, man.
For sure. And you're facing Song Yadong. He's still a very young prospect. He's had a few fights, but still very young, decent record. When you break down his style, what are some attributes that stick out?
He's quick. He throws big punches. He's pretty well-rounded. Not super great everywhere, but does a couple things well, but, not a fish out of the water really anywhere in MMA. So, definitely going to bring my A game. I think I do a lot of things better than him. I think I mix it up really well, but, he's got a handful of things that he does good, good movement, good rhythm, big punches. So we'll see what he brings to the table August 7th, though.
Have you seen an evolution in him throughout the years, or does he seem like he's still the same fighter? The style is pretty much the same.
Yeah, he seems fairly similar. I think one of the guys I fought, Alatang, I think both those guys came from a similar camp. Wei Lee is also from that camp. I see her coach as well. They all have a similar style of fighting. He's been an alpha male for a little while. As far as his striking goes, it's pretty similar to when he got into the UFC. I haven't seen. I guess it's hard to evolve inside the octagon, so I'm sure he's got a few things, but what he's brought to the table, I haven't seen much. As far as an evolution.
For sure, and your teammate Kyler Felix, he gave Song Yadong his first loss inside the octagon, actually in the last event you guys both fought on. What were some of the takeaways from that fight?
Really in his last few fights, people have been able to take him down, control him a little bit, avoid the big punches, and you do pretty well against him. And, that's something that I want to get back to as well. The fights that I have lost in the UFC, I just walk forward and try to throw big punches. It's MMA, need to keep mixing it up, and I think that's a key to beating Song as well.
I mentioned Phillips last weekend. In my opinion, man, he got pretty screwed by the judges, dude. That first round, I think he knocked his opponent down like 3 times. That should have been like a 10-8 at least, right? And are you thinking the judges are following the criteria themselves when they're watching these fights?
Yeah, I went back and watched Kyler's fight, and obviously I had a biased opinion the first time. The second time, I get where they were coming from. I thought the first round was very dominant. Definitely could have been a 10-8. I get where the scoring came from, though, after rewatching it. I didn't think it was, a big robbery after I watched it again, but I thought Kyler still dominated the fight. There was one mishap in the second round where they both punched and Kyler went down. But other than that, I thought he dominated the second round as well, besides the one punch. But, you consider that a knockdown in the second. It's kind of hard to score that there, I guess. So I get where the judging was coming from, but obviously thought Kyler still got the nod there.
I think a lot of people did, man. I
Yeah.
personally thought he did. And, when you look at that and you look at the judging, and I've talked to many coaches in the last couple of years, with the trends that are happening with judging, do you
Right.
and your coaches, when you're watching these types of decisions play out, do you guys go back and have to adjust to what's currently happening on the scorecards?
Uh, yeah, I mean, kind of, like, I guess you don't really know what the judges are thinking. Like when I'm in there, I'm thinking finish the fight, finish the fight. Even though the judge is going to a decision, we're all probably in there trying to finish fights because we don't want to go to that judge's scorecard. But just like getting takedowns, stuff like that, it's not really a fan pleaser. That's things that you have to do to win these close fights. I get a takedown every round against Dominick, even just one. I'd probably win that fight, and that's things, especially going home with one or two checks, get a win obviously gets you to a better position in where you want to go. So those are things that you kind of have to adapt to versus just, a fan pleasing type of style. Never really thinking too much about the judges, but just assessing the fight afterwards. It's like, okay, we have to kind of do this in case it does go to the scorecards.
A lot of it has to do with making those adjustments between rounds. The coach is reminding you, like, hey, man, it could go to the judges. You might have to do, get a takedown, late in the round or something, right?
Yep. And, even when you hear the corner advice, you get back out there and start throwing punches. And, especially myself, I get sucked into it. But, that's part of growing, that type of thing.
Yeah, definitely. Last March you faced off against Dominick Cruz. You dropped a split decision, very close fight, like you said. A takedown could have changed the result. Does that one linger with you a little more than others, especially with what was on the line? You beat Cruz. It lined you up with some big fights.
Right. No, man. I just turned 30. I'm in this for the long haul. Obviously, I wanted to get the win there and continue, into the top 10. But I like to fight often too. So, in a year's time, if I can knock off 4 fights, that puts me probably even farther into the mix if I win all 4. So I'm okay with it. I'm happy with it. Things play out the way that they did, and that's that. I got to move on from it. But it's kind of nice now. I'm in a position where I can fight pretty much anyone. An up and comer, top 15. Someone that wants to fight on a Sunday, it doesn't really matter, and that's a good position to be in. Last time, got to make a quick turnaround and knock off a couple fights, and stack the bank account a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think maybe that attitude that you have about fighting and taking matchups, the UFC sees that, and they because if you look at the list of guys you fought, some of them are pretty good names, man. Some big names.
Right. When you're easy to work with, you want to fight a lot. It's pretty easy to be likable, in this sport, especially coming from promoter's aspect of it. So I'm just gonna keep doing my thing, and it took a little time this time, but it was planned, and still get 3, maybe 4, and 4 would be crazy, but I'm all for that this year. Fights this year at least.
Why was the time off planned?
Uh, Man, I had 7 fights in a year and 11 months in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like I'm in it for the long haul. Like I said, even before the Dom fight, I was like, I'm gonna take a month off of training, kind of reset, rest my body a little bit. Even though I was healthy, the sparring rounds, all that stuff kind of wears on you. And like I said, I'm in there in a normal turnaround, but for me, it seemed like a really long time because I got in there, and if I'm healthy, I'm down to fight. I'll knock 5 off in a year if I can, and I feel like I needed a little break to make another run again. I want to knock 2 more off for sure this year, maybe 3 if things get a little wild in there. But I needed a little month break there before making another run again.
What did you do for that month? I know as a competitor, you've been very active. So when you take that month off, you get that itch pretty quick, probably like a week out, and you're just like, man.
Yeah, most things were pretty. It was a lot of downtime, a lot of chilling. Some things I can't talk about. But I tried to do some hiking, get out and explore nature, relax, just not go to the gym because there for a while. That's all. Get right back in the gym after a fight. And I kind of just forced myself to not go train. But like you said, after about a week or two, I was ready to get back in the gym and train. So, that I wanted to feel that itch, again too, was like I almost even tortured myself for an extra week. Just like I felt the urge to get back in the gym, and then it was just getting stronger and stronger. The month went by, and I think it did like an extra week just to feel that urge of wanting to get back in the gym.
For sure. Now, Song, he's a guy that comes forward. You're a guy that marches forward. When you visualize this fight, what is running through your mind?
Well, we've been working on a lot of stuff, but really what comes to mind is me pointing at the center of the octagon and putting my hands up and like, you ready to do this? And throwing down. My coaches would probably want a little bit different game plan, but honestly, that's what comes to mind when I think about fighting Song is, who's going to back up? It's going to be me or you?
For sure. And in the last fight against Cruz, you guys were the main event of the prelims. This time out, you guys are the opening act of the pay-per-view portion of the card. Right. It's a huge spot, a lot of eyes on you. And I think it's because your opponent, even though he's not ranked, he kind of has some hype, and China is a factor in it too. They want to grow that market. How important is it for you to go out there, win, lose, or draw, is just to put on the show?
I mean, that's half the battle, every time. Me as a fight fan, I like watching exciting fights. So on the flip side of me as a fighter, I'm going to be in exciting fights. And, pretty much anything that you've ever watched of mine has been an exciting fight. I just fought one of the legends, Dominick Cruz. Got a lot of hype behind me as well. So both our styles meeting together. If I was a matchmaker putting the fights together, I would definitely put us two as a pay-per-view opener. What a better way to start the card.
A couple things with the bantamweight division. You go in there, you take care of business against Song. Are you looking at opponents in that 11 to 15 range? There's a couple of very interesting matchups stylistically, like there's Stamen, Vera, Rivera, Asuncao. Those are all great matchups for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely take a fight, top 15, top 10. That's, kind of where I was headed, and definitely want to get back there. Like I said, however, both of us being unranked, if one of those up-and-comers, some of those guys with some hype want a shot at getting into there, I'm definitely a guy that they got to get through first. So I like being in that position. I feel like I can go either way. Definitely a good spot to be in, if you wanted to get a lot of fights in as well.
And last weekend, Dillashaw, he returned after a long layoff, after the PED suspension, and got the split decision over Corey Sandhagen. The scorecards, again, it comes into question. Corey did do a lot of damage. He messed up Dillashaw's knee in the first round. Dillashaw went into surgery recently, and then that cut, man, is that one of the nastiest cuts you've ever seen?
Yeah, that was gross, man. Normally you see it horizontal, and it was a vertical cut on the eyebrow, but I guess he did say that was what the cut that postponed it in the first place. So, those things open up pretty easily in the first, year, 6 months of getting them. So, understandable. I thought, not just the cut, but man, he hit him with some shots, some clean shots. And Sandhagen kind of said it best. If you score the fight in damage, you score the fight how a fight's scored now with control. Well, not now, but just how an MMA fight's been scored with control, takedowns. I gave the nod to TJ. How I view a fight, or how I think somehow, some way things should be scored is, damage is king. Not necessarily just striking, but if you get a takedown, it's like, what do you do with the takedown? Or you get, like in TJ's case, I feel like he won with a body lock against the cage, not really taking him down much, but just controlling there. Yes, he's in control, but as far as the fight goes, there's not much going on. So I think that's, something that maybe in judging down the road to kind of changed, but as far as the way judging scored now, I thought TJ, edged it out there in the fifth.
And did you think Sandhagen, since he in his last two fights, he got highlight reel knockouts? Do you feel like he kind of got lost in chasing that highlight reel knockout against TJ?
Yeah, I mean, he had some nasty shots, but he didn't score the little things, which I think could have helped him along the way. Obviously, when he got nasty highlight reel moves like that, you got to throw him. A couple of those knees were half an inch away, maybe even closer. Who knows? But it's just one of his Sandhagen's weaknesses that I've seen is getting taken down or being able to get controlled like that. I kind of called before the fight. I kind of thought that's what TJ would do. I figured Corey hit him with some shots, but if he made it through, he would hit the control, hit the takedowns, that type of thing. Hell of a fight, though. Props to both of them.
Yeah, great fight. Now, Aljamain Sterling, Peter Yan, looks like they're going to run it back later this year. The first question on that matchup is that the fight to make, or do you feel like someone else should have slid in there and been fighting for the title?
I think if Sterling waits, I'd run TJ and Yan, and then the winner gets Sterling. That's what I was thinking about the other day, was have TJ and Yan fight, and then for an interim, and then if Sterling's still out for a little while. But yeah, that's definitely the fight to make if that's their first fight back and Sterling's ready to go. Got to run that one back, man. Got to run that one back. So I remember I fought on that card and we were watching, and I think Yan takes it, but got to run it back still.
Yeah, especially with Sterling coming off that surgery on his neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like that could be something? Like, is that something that will make him better? Man, because that was a serious surgery, I think. A neck is serious.
Man, you've seen a lot of guys come back from major injuries, major surgeries, perform pretty similar. I'm sure him himself, is the doctors that he's using and that type of thing, won't let him come back before it's too, before he's fully healed and that type of thing. I don't know if that's going to actually help him. I don't know if the surgery ever actually, fully helps your overall game, but maybe so if he had some, major issues there.
Do you see Yan performing even better? Because we've seen highlights of him, training, and we really don't see highlights of or videos or clips of Sterling training. Sterling's, I think he's out in Georgia, like having a good old time, having vacation.
Yeah, having a good old time. Well, I mean, he had surgery, man. That's what I'd be doing if I had surgery too, So can't blame the guy there. But if you're fighting Yan, better get your ass in the gym. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Now, the inconsistency with judging, man, and a lot of people have been outspoken. I think Ngannou tweeted some stuff out about, like, we got to do something about this. But I think it affects fighters more is the show win purses. You know what I mean? And people are saying, like, we need to get rid of that. You know what I mean? Like, why do we have that? Do you believe a flat fee for fighters will change how they approach the fight?
No. I mean, we're fighting for our jobs in there, too. You know what I mean? It's like saying, the NFL players get too much. Well, I mean, I guess the NFL players, NBA, some people complain about them not playing hard, but in a fight, one, we're getting our ass kicked, and two, we lose 2 or 3 fights, we don't have a job anymore. We're making a 10th or a 20th of what we were just making. So I don't think it's going to have any effect on, your overall, like, as far as how much people are trying. I think it may even make more exciting fights. If fans boo at takedowns and control, well, some guys are doing that to get a second paycheck and have money to pay their bills because they know they're injured and they're going, they're not going to fight for a while or something crazy like that. Maybe get more exciting fights by doing it. Who knows? But that would be nice. That'd be nice to, a loss is shitty enough. A loss and half your pay. And, it is what it is. But to me, the hardest part of a loss is not only half my pay, but, my whole team gets half. And, they did everything to prepare me fully. And that's for me, that's the worst part about the getting half when you lose. But it would be nice to get the full thing.
you make a great point. When you lose, you can get over that loss pretty quickly. You guys are mentally tougher than most
Right,
athletes in the world, but that
right,
loss of wage is something that's hard to make up for.
right. And I know what what game we're getting into. Well, we signed the contract. No ill will there, but like I said, it's not even money for me. It's I don't have any kids or anything like that. It's the biggest thing for me is like, man, my coaches did everything that they should have did, or they did everything this camp, and now I got to pay them half, uh, or the management, that type of thing. That's my only thing that bugs me when that happens.
For sure. Well, hey man, August 7th, you're
Well,
back in the
that's why we're
cage.
going out there getting 2 checks, looking for
Yes.
three.
Exactly. Go get two, look for the third one, right? And this one is a certified banger, man. Like you guys both come out there, you guys shown that, you guys could put each other to sleep. So, let's see what happens, man. Thank you so much for the time.
Of course, man. Thank you for your time as well.